Good morning, friends. It's 14 degrees under mostly cloudy skies in Kirksville. First Cup is on the way. Hi, friends. Joe Hafner here. I'll have the latest episode of First Cup for you in just a few seconds, but I want to take this time to remind you of a few things, like you can send me an email with your comments, suggestions, ideas, likes, and dislikes about this show, things you'd like to hear, things you don't want to hear, or Song of the Day request. Send those emails to Gunther's House of Friends at gmail.com. That's Gunther's House of Friends at gmail.com. Or leave me a message on my Skype account and look up this user address. It's letter G, G800 486 8437. That's G800 486 8437. An easy way to remember that is to get out your old landline phone and type and look up the letter G. You don't have to worry about that, but spell out 800 G800 and then spell out Gunther. It's G800 Gunther. Okay, so G800 486 8437 is what that turns out to be. Follow me on Twitter personally at jhafner99. That's where you see more of my private thoughts. Or follow the network by looking up this Twitter address. Okay, you ready? Look up Gunther's Friends on Twitter. That's where you can get all the latest happenings in regards to the Gunther's House of Friends network. And friend me on Facebook by going to facebook.com/Gunther's House, or click on the hot link on my website at tinyurl.com/Gunther's House. That's good on your PC, Mac, Linux, or tablet computer, or on your smartphone at tinyurl.com/Gunther Mobile. That's good on your Android, iOS, Windows Phone, or as well as on your tablet computer. And you can also listen to previous episodes of this show, as well as previous episodes of Joe's Retro Radio, by downloading the Stitcher app, which is available via hot link on the opening page of my website, or going to Stitcher.com, as well as on Spreaker.com, at Spreaker.com, be heard, and look up Gunther's House of Friends there. On Miro at GetMiro.com, that's MIRO, as well as on iTunes and on the Windows Media Store. And now, without further delay, it's time for today's show.
I want rustlers, cutthroats, murderers, bounty hunters, desperados, mugs, pugs, thugs, nitwits, halfwits, dimwits, vipers, snipers, con men, Indian agents, Mexican bandits, muggers, buggerers, bushwhackers, hornswagglers, horse thieves, bull dykes, train robbers, bank robbers, ass kickers, shit kickers, and Methodists!
Could you repeat that, sir?
Good morning, friends. It is Wednesday, January 1st, 2014, and you know what that means? It's time for your first cup.
To save his life, call his wife in. Nothing to say, but what a day. How's your boy been? Nothing to do, it's up to you. I've got nothing to say, but it's okay. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good. Everybody knows there's nothing doing. Everything is closed, it's like a ruin. Everyone you see is half asleep, and you're on your own, you're in the street. After a while you start to smile, now you feel cool. Then you decide to take a walk by the old school. Nothing has changed, it's still the same. I've got nothing to say, but it's okay. Good morning, good morning, good morning. People running round, it's 5 o'clock. Everywhere in town is getting dark. Everyone you see is full of life. It's time for tea and meet the wife. Somebody needs to know the time, glad that I'm here. Watching the skirt, you start to flirt, now you're in gear. Go to a show, you hope she goes. I've got nothing to say, but it's okay. Good morning, good morning.
This episode of First Cup is sponsored in part by Wishing Stars Native Creations, Marshall Woodworking, Fine Art Today with Maria Sewer, and Mary Kay Cosmetics with Jennifer Jacobs-Moorhead. Check out their websites and many more on the Friends page at tinyurl.com/Gunther's House or tinyurl.com/Gunther Mobile. And a good Wednesday morning! How's the hangover? Are you ready for another show? Okay, I promise. Okay, I promise not to shout anymore. Welcome to First Cup. It is the first day of January 2014. Welcome back to Studio 17. Felt like I was just here, 7 hours ago? Wrapping up the New Year's Eve party. Well, welcome to First Cup, first show of the brand new year, and hope that you are nursing that hangover, and that I won't talk too fast, and I won't shout too loud, and that everything is going well, and that you're still holding true to those resolutions that you made 9 hours ago. Well, welcome to the program, and I'm going to confess, first of all, Cable One is acting up again. I noticed late last night as the night progressed, once I got past midnight, my bandwidth got better. Now, that's not to say that I didn't have issues behind the scenes, but I shut off almost all the peripheral programs except the antivirus and the bare essentials on my computer, okay? And so I was able to retain the signal, and it got better as the night progressed. Now, this morning, setting up my board and getting things ready for First Cup, I was starting to have weird issues once again. Now, either it's in this computer, which it is possible. I mean, it's a 4-year-old computer now. Well, a little over 3 years ago since I bought it. That could be part of the problem, but I think it's more of bandwidth issues with Cable One, because I've got a 7-year-old plus laptop on standby here that, for whatever reason, does not like Cable One's new modem. It has not liked it for several months. Now, I take it anywhere else in Kirksville with Wi-Fi, it works great. But here at home, it will not say, I don't see the modem. I see it, but I can't lock onto it. I don't understand that. But anyway, welcome to First Cup, and another confession I've got for you. Normally, for those of you that are familiar with this show, normally after you hear what I call my Knight Rider Las Vegas intro, you know, that little da-da-da-da-da-da music right before I do the joke, it occurred to me in the middle of playing that, it's like, I forgot to write a joke. And worse yet, I forgot to look one up to back me up on this. So I didn't have a joke, so all I could do, and I couldn't think of anything on the fly other than resolutions. I thought, well, that's kind of stupid. But then, that's what a lot of jokes are. Stating the obvious for people that aren't really paying a whole lot of attention. Or maybe you are paying attention, and I'm just deluding myself. But welcome to the podcast, and hope to make it worth your while. If this is your first time to First Cup, I promise I'll be gentle, okay? Don't have a whole lot on the list for today in terms of complaints because I didn't spend a whole lot of time researching, but I do have some things I've kept on the back burner, as it were, and so we're going to go from there, okay? And muddle our way through this like we do every program. I have most of the usual features today, no market information though. For whatever reason, APM is not sending that information, so no markets for today, but we'll have the CBS World News Roundup. Also, I got to look up a News of the Weird item, but that shouldn't be too hard to find. Popular tweets of the day, and the song of the day, plus a whole lot more, all jam-packed in, hopefully for the next couple of hours. Now, a few weeks ago on this show, I said I was introducing a new element called Highly Questionable. It's a show on ESPN2 that runs occasionally on weekday afternoons at 3 o'clock. So far, ESPN has not sent anything since the 20th of December. But I'm hoping that they'll have some stuff hopefully next week. I don't expect anything this week, but it's not something that I forgot. It's just that ESPN has not had their show on for several days. And, hopefully they'll have something by next week. Well, hope you enjoyed the New Year's Eve party that I had on the air last night. First edition of Joe Hafner Live on this network, the Gunther's House of Friends network. And that ran until about a little after 1 o'clock. Played some great music. I think I wrote down 72 to 73 songs that I played. I had about 88 in the lineup. So overall, it was, I think, a pretty good run, and had a few listeners. I think I had roughly about 10 to 15 stable listeners that listened to online or have downloaded it early this morning. So hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to relive those memories, of 2013 as we headed into 2014, the program is available on iTunes now. And just look up Gunther's House of Friends. Or if you wanted to hear it for the first time, if you just went to bed early or had other things going on last night, if you had, say, like a normal life, like a date, you can reminisce about the New Year's Eve that went from 2013 to 2014. All right. Well, we're starting off the Wednesday morning here, at least in the Midwest. I don't know about where you are, but it is bitterly cold outside and overcast, and looks like we're in for another major snowstorm. I'll have details on the weather forecast coming up in just a few minutes for the United States of America, as well as for the Kirksville, Missouri region. But I want to start off the program with, let's see here. What do I have here? I'm going to start off with a list of predictions that I've compiled, some observations, basically, and things that I expect will take place before December 31st, 2014. Okay, 365 days from now. Here are my predictions, and I've got 10 of them, so bear with me, and I hope you'll humor me. It'll take a little bit to get through this list, but first of all, I predict, now keep in mind I wrote this down a couple of days ago, the federal government, the federal minimum, let me do this first. Okay, that's better. I need some chapstick. The federal minimum wage will be raised to $10.50 by the end of this year. Number 2, Congress will not shut down the federal government. That's number 2. I think they learned their lesson back in October. Number 3, Congress will not pass anything significant on immigration reform, gun safety, or tax reform. Okay? Prediction number 4. Republican Senate and House primaries starting in March will intensify the GOP civil war, which will grow even more heated throughout the year. Number 5. Americans will forget how badly the rollout of the Affordable Care Act was botched, and by year's end, a majority will support it. I'll probably smoke a crack on that one. Number 6. New York Senator Hillary Clinton will not, I repeat, will not yet declare her candidacy for president, and speculation will increase about Vice President Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren. Okay? Number 7, I predict that Democrats will retain control over the Senate and Republicans will retain control over the House in the midterm elections. All right, in November. Number 8, the Dow Jones Industrials will close 10% lower by year's end than it was at the start. 10% lower by the end of this year for the Dow Jones. Number 9, Wall Street will be rocked by a huge insider trading scandal before the end of this year. And number 10, I predict that both major political parties, Democrats and Republicans, will tout strategies to reverse widening inequality, which will have grown worse. Now, I would be interested to hear your predictions. And you can submit those to Gunther's House of Friends at gmail.com or call me on Skype and leave your message there at G800-486-8437. Again, that's Gunther's House of Friends at gmail.com or on Skype at G800-486-8437. Okay, so those are my predictions for the year 2014. Let's see here. What else do I have on the agenda for today? Hold on just a moment. I'm still getting my notes together. I should have had them better organized. I woke up a little bit after 7, and I did not earnestly get out of bed until about 7:20, 7:25. And somehow, and I don't remember doing this, because when I fell asleep, I could have sworn I left my TV on the USA Network because I wanted to catch the NCIS marathon it's on today. Yeah, I'm not going to get a whole lot done. But when I woke up, it was on KTVO ABC's feed. So I don't know. I must have changed the channel in the middle of the night and forgotten about it. But before I forget about it, I want to invite you to tune in later on tonight and at 7 o'clock for the premiere of my new Legislative Affairs program. I need to get my notes together for that finalized. But it's a review of legislative agendas and affairs throughout the United States, and occasionally I'll take a look at worldwide situations. But it's primarily focused on the United States, in particular in Missouri. Okay, I'm going to test it out tonight and see how that goes. And then another test program that I'm running is for Flashback Fridays, which premieres this Friday morning at 10:30 Central Standard Time. Okay, and then on Sunday, in addition to Joe's Retro Radio that I'll have for you at 6 o'clock that evening, and hopefully I'll have better luck in presenting the program than I did back right before Christmas. In addition to that program at 6 o'clock that evening, at 10:30 Sunday morning, I will have a new program focusing on religious matters as it pertains to the world of news. Okay, it's called The Devil's Advocate. That's at 10:30 Sunday morning Central Standard Time. All right. Now, getting to some items in the news for today and some things I wanted to bring up. First of all, it's a follow-up to the Affordable Care Act because this is obviously going to be a big issue, especially in the next few weeks as the program gets fully implemented. According to Reuters News, as of yesterday, over 2 million people have enrolled in health insurance plans through the federally run healthcare.gov site and state healthcare enrollment websites. That's according to a U.S. administration official. Healthcare.gov covers 36 states, and another 14 states have their own websites. While short of the 3.3 million enrollees the Obama administration was hoping for by now under what has become known as Obamacare, especially among conservative media outlets, the number is a dramatic improvement from a month ago. Well, no shinola, Sherlock. To me, it's like saying the first year of anything is a record-setting year. Well, of course it's a record-setting year. There's no precedent. The White House, come on, do you really think we're not noticing then that? Yeah, this is the best year for the Affordable Care Act. Well, no shit, Sherlock. It's the first time. Whether it's a success or a failure, of course it's going to be a record enrollment. Doesn't mean it's going to be a damn good thing. Come on. But yet, you're having a lot of Democrats and those in the liberal news media, and I'm among them, that are touting that. But I, for one, am not touting that. It's like saying the first year of baseball, well, we had a record number of home runs, stolen bases, ERAs. Well, of course you are. As I said, there's no precedent. So the White House, enough with the gloating about that, okay? I mean, I know you're going to gloat about your own administration, especially when there are successes. But when there's no precedent, that's just tooting your own horn for no reason, okay? Well, the number is a dramatic improvement from a month ago, when barely 150,000 had signed up because of technical problems with healthcare.gov. That's like saying the Edsel had a few minor problems, okay? Namely a PR campaign there. But now, I'm not one that's trying to destroy the Affordable Care Act. I admit I have my issues with it. I still believe it should have gone to a vote of the people instead of Congress passing this thing, because I think it would have failed to get passed, and Congress knows that. A friend and I were talking about this the other day, and even though we're on different political spectrums, I think we both agree that this should have gone to a vote of the people. And more people should have expressed their outrage. Because I find it hard to believe that so many people don't like the system or pissed off about it, but yet you didn't say anything to your congressman. Well, that's your fault. You should have been more vocal. Okay? But nevertheless, that is what we're faced with as of right now. What else do I have here for you on this Wednesday morning? Let's see. Well, speaking of conspiracy theories and so forth, this one I'm still reading up on it. I just came across it a few minutes ago, as a matter of fact, right before it came on the air. And this is from rawstory.com, an article that was posted yesterday, in which this is written by Travis Geddes, okay, and the title of the article is called Conspiracy Theorist Jim Garrow. Obama will enlist aliens and Canadians to rule America. Where do you get these people? And I know of well-meaning people who believe that Muslims are taking over the world, taking over this country, and I'm thinking, and yet I have never seen a mosque north of Columbia, Missouri in my life, as far as I know. I'm sure there are Muslims in this area, but they certainly aren't practicing it out in the open, as far as I can tell. I admit there are conspiracies in government. I believe there are some cover-ups. But to say that we're being overtaken by aliens and Canadians and Muslims, I don't buy it. I'm from Missouri. Show me the proof you've got. I don't want innuendo. I don't want insinuation. I want facts. I want evidence. Clear-cut, unequivocal, undeniable evidence. Okay? Well, this article says that a birther conspiracy theorist who inaccurately predicted that President Barack Obama would order nuclear strikes and nuclear attacks on U.S. cities, okay, has improbably found a way to top that wild claim. I don't know how the hell you do that, but why would a president attack his own citizenry just to make political points? What would be the point of doing that? I don't get it. Well, according to Garrow, what we're going to be seeing soon is the unveiling of the concept that we have, in fact, these are his words now, been contacted and have been in communication with people from other civilizations beyond Earth, and that will be part of the Great Deception. Mr. Garrow, what are you smoking, sir? And will you please share it with the rest of the class? Well, apparently Rush, I assume this article means Rush Limbaugh, and another guest, Nancy Smith of the Tea Party News show, Politichicks, said they weren't surprised. I don't know about this article. Anyway, personally, I've already heard some other sources saying the very same thing that you're saying, Smith said. Okay. Garrow, an Ontario native who claims to be a former U.S. intelligence officer. Well, I question both U.S. intelligence and an officer. But anyway, he said he suspects that President Obama will soon implement a plan that's been in the works since the 1960s. Wait, the federal government's had this on hold for 50 years and they're just now going to implement it? Okay. It'll be a great fraud. The whole basis of this, it is a great hoax, said Garrow, a contributor to Alec Jones' InfoWars and accused child trafficker. Well, now the story's starting to unravel. The conspiracy theorist said he knew the plan would be hatched soon because the CIA operative who first told him of the plot more than 30 years ago has been found murdered 2 months ago in Hong Kong. Garrow, who claims Obama had ordered the deaths of conservative blogger Andrew Breitbart. Right. Journalist Michael Hastings. And novelist Tom Clancy. Say what? Because they knew he was a Saudi double agent. And it said the plot would be the greatest deception that mankind has ever faced. Really? Rush replied credulously with a single-word answer. Wow! Well, Garrow said the next step in Obama's plan would be to order the military to attack Americans who aren't deceived by his alien contact hoax, but the conservative activists doubted that U.S. troops would turn against their own. Okay. That, of course, is where Chinese, Russian, and United Nations forces come in, as well as Canadians. Now, for the record, when was the last time the Canadians fought in a war that you know about? I rest my case. Well, continuing with the story, Garrow warned, U.S. troops swear allegiance to the Constitution, but the Canadians do not. Well, the Canadians do, but to their own Constitution. Well, he goes on to claim that Obama and Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper had signed an agreement to assist one another militarily in the event of an insurrection. Okay. I can't make this kind of stuff up. This is some good fodder, I'll tell you. Wow. We're in cahoots with the Canadians, apparently. Let's see here. Where'd it go? I'm sorry. I tapped the wrong part of the screen and I lost the article, so just bear with me as I get it to reload. Now we're bringing in a new element. A group of people who could be armed and could be in a position to shoot American civilians who have never sworn allegiance to the U.S. Constitution. That's where the plan gets so complicated that even Garrow has trouble keeping it straight. I don't know where that would fit in with respect to the Chinese and Russians who happen to be under whatever guise, whether it be training or sharing of information. Who knows what that might be in place, Garrow said, but it opens up a pretty scary scenario. Yeah, the scariest scenario is that people believe this horse hockey. But, really? Well, I'm from Missouri. You're going to have to prove this to me, okay? And so far, the idea that we're in contact with extraterrestrials and so forth, I don't buy it. It makes for good sci-fi, but frankly, I'm just not buying it, okay? I just thought you might want a good laugh this morning as we start off 2014 together. Let's see, what else do I have here on this Wednesday morning? On to more serious matters. A record low 25% of unemployed Americans will receive benefits now that Congress has allowed the federal program to expire. That's according to data from the Department of Labor compiled by House Democrats on the Ways and Means Committee. The number is the lowest since the Department of Labor began keeping records in 1946. Now, before Congress let the Federal Unemployment Benefit Assistance Program expire on December 28th, 38% of unemployed Americans who paid unemployment taxes were receiving unemployment insurance either through their state or the federal government. Now, most states provide 26 weeks of unemployment insurance. Benefits from the federal government kicked in after that, providing up to 73 weeks of benefits in total. However, 73 weeks were allowed in only 3 states with high unemployment rates. The average amount of benefits allowed under both federal and state programs was 54 weeks. Now, Congress could retroactively pay unemployment benefits once it returns to session on January 6th. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid of Nevada has promised to veto next Monday on a bill by Senators Jack Reed, Democrat of Rhode Island, and Republican Dean Heller of Nevada, to extend the federal program for 3 months. House Speaker John Boehner of Ohio, Republican, said that he would consider the bill if it was paid for. Meanwhile, 72,000 Americans will lose their benefits each week during the first half of this year if unemployment insurance is not extended. That's according to information compiled by the House Democrats. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm not very happy about that. One more government issue, and then have one other thing I wanted to bring up on the program. And will Benghazi facts penetrate the right-wing bubble? Here we go again, folks. 1 year after creating a fact-free bubble in the run-up to the last election, media of conservatives are once again denying reality, this time in service of reanimating the Benghazi hoax that ensnared news organizations throughout 2012, denying authoritative evidence that should finally put an end to the hoax. Well, an exhaustive New York Times investigation into the 2012 terrorist attack in Benghazi, it's in Benghazi, Libya, published on December 28th, discredited the key elements of the right-wing campaign to politicize the attack, a desperate attempt to bring down the Obama administration and sink a possible presidential run by Hillary Rodham Clinton. Significantly, the Times definitively debunked the myth that Al-Qaeda played a central role in planning the attack. Nevertheless, Daily Beast contributor Eli Lake, who has been a key validator of the Benghazi hoax, pushed back against the Times, insisting that Al-Qaeda was responsible for the attack. Well, contrary to what the New York Times reported, Lake claimed that, quote, evidence has emerged in the last year that does show the participation of militias and fighters with known ties to Al-Qaeda, unquote. Lake specifically cited comments made by Congressman Mike Rogers, Republican of Michigan, and Democrat Adam Schiff of California. Lake's insistence that Al-Qaeda was responsible for the attack is in line with Fox News' response to the Times report. Washington Post columnist Charles Krauthammer, a Fox News contributor, often portrayed as legitimate voice in the national media, accused the Times of covering for Democrats with its report. Well, this denial of reality is reminiscent of the way the right retreated to a bubble throughout the 2012 election and poses a real threat to Americans' understanding of international terrorism. The relentless campaign to insist that Al-Qaeda was responsible for the terrorist attacks in Benghazi misinforms the public understanding of that terrorist group and the role that local extremist groups play in international relations. In response to the critics of its reporting, The Times editorial board explained that Americans are often careless with the term Al-Qaeda, which strictly speaking, means the core extremist group founded by Osama bin Laden that is based in Pakistan and bent on global jihad. Republicans, Democrats, and others often conflate purely local extremist groups or regional affiliates with Al-Qaeda's international network. Now that prevents the understanding the motivations of each group, making each seem like a direct, immediate threat to the United States and thus confusing the decision-making process. And as the New Yorker's Amy Davidson noted, a failure to acknowledge the complexities of extremist groups could lead to tragic real-world results. Not every angry Muslim, not even every angry Sunni Muslim, is part of Al-Qaeda. Using the name so generically and broadly is a deliberate decision to not understand who our enemies truly are, or to care. If they don't like us, they're Al-Qaeda, and we can't stop listening. Or rather, we can stop listening. And how then are we supposed to know who our friends are? Insisting that any Muslim who attacks us is Al-Qaeda also means that when we are standing around handing out guns to strangers, something we do a little too often, we'll assume that those who don't strike us as Al-Qaeda types will not attack us. But nevertheless, the people that really need to hear that message and take it to heart will blow off what I just said. Alright, and that's my rants and raves for today. Well, I got one more. A follow-up to the Duck Dynasty, and I know you're going like, Joe, can't you let that rest? I could, but I won't. Captain's prerogative. Yeah, I'm the captain of the ship, and I'll decide what goes on, what doesn't. And with that being said, even though a lot of this was an elaborate setup by A&E executives to get more viewership and so forth, Duck Dynasty, for now, is going to be a part of the national dialogue, whether you like it or not. As I've stated, the show's not my cup of tea. I've got my issues with it, but I never favored getting rid of the show. But as with all things, eventually it will come to an end. But this debate, I don't see it coming to an end anytime soon. Well, apparently Phil Robertson is no stranger to controversy. And this is just days after his anti-gay and racially insensitive comments appeared in GQ magazine. He was temporarily suspended from his popular A&E show Duck Dynasty. I don't think he was really suspended. I think that was just a publicity stunt. Well, when fans complained, the network reinstated him. Well, now he's back in the headlines for a newly surfaced video. And now this article comes courtesy of the Huffington Post. So keep in mind, Huffington Post isn't exactly known for world-class journalism, and I admit that. Well, this article was published yesterday. Come on, computer. Well, apparently, this footage is from 5 years ago, in 2009, which was posted on YouTube, and shows the 67-year-old reality TV star speaking at a Christian retreat in Georgia. Now, during that speech, he tells a story about advising a young man to find a good Christian girl and marry her. Make sure that she can cook a meal. You need to eat some meals that she cooks. Check that out. Make sure she carries her Bible. That'll save you a lot of trouble down the road, Robertson said. Okay. A bit of an outdated ideology, but alright, I'll give him that. He then went on to say that men should wed girls who are young. Quote, they got to where they're getting hard to find, mainly because these boys are waiting until they get about 20 years old before they marry them, Robertson said. Look, you wait until they get to be 20 years old. The only picking that's going to take place is in your pocket. You got to marry these girls when they're about 15 or 16. They'll pick your ducks. Unquote. Robertson married his wife Kay when she was just 16 years old. Well, the New York Daily News reported that in the state of Louisiana, such unions are legal with parental consent. In Missouri, I think it's 17. Might be 16, but I'm pretty sure it's 17. Well, this type of river rat counseling is bound to raise some eyebrows among network brass. Well, getting back to the GQ interview, Robertson called homosexuality a sin and likened it to bestiality. Now, in that same article, Robertson also claimed that black people were happy prior to the civil rights era. I can tell you for a fact that just because someone says they're happy or appears to be happy on the surface doesn't mean they're happy. That can be with racial relations, sexual relations, identity, drug abuse, substance abuse, clinical depression. Nevertheless, many conservatives, including Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal, backed Robertson's comments. Nearly 200,000 supporters also signed petitions demanding Robertson's reinstatement to the show. That's when the network backed down and lifted the suspension and reinstated him to the program. Now, according to CBS News, Duck Dynasty has roughly 14 million viewers, and merchandising from the program brings in about $400 million annually. Meanwhile, new episodes of the show featuring the Dynasty patriarch are scheduled to go on the air 2 weeks from today. But that's what you're defending, folks. That's what you're defending. All right. Well, I am going to give my choppers a break because I've been talking for nearly an hour, and I am already tired. I can tell you, even though I didn't drink last night, that I stayed up way too late, I didn't get enough sleep, so I am very groggy, and I might as well be hungover. Thankfully, though, the only headache that I'm going to have is from caffeine deprivation, but I am remedying that as we speak. Still to come on this edition of First Cup, I'll have news for you from the CBS World News Desk a little bit later on, as well as a gander at the nationwide weather forecast, among the many other things. But right after this break, when we come back, I'll take a look at some things you need to know, things that are trending. Stay tuned. More First Cup is on the way. From Studio 17, I'm Joe Hafner, and this is your First Cup.
To drop out of high school and get a meaningless job that makes me feel bad about myself.
I'd like to fall victim to the old boys network.
I don't want anybody to notice me.
I just want to fly under the radar.
I want to splatter against the glass ceiling.
I don't have an opinion.
I want to be a straight C student.
I'm going to be a biomedical engineer. I want to succumb to peer pressure all of my life.
I'm going to be a best-selling author and win the National Book Award.
I'm going to be a marine biologist.
Wait, I take mine back. I'm going to be a biomedical engineer.
I think I'll be the president.
I'm going to be Secretary of State.
World-class chef, right here.
Race car driver.
Artist. Paleontologist.
Film director.
Surgeon. Teacher. Scientist. Olympian.
I'm going to be the boss.
I'm so glad we left that stupid party.
No joke.
Hey, baby, are you an overdue library book? Because you got fine written all over you.
Oh, barf. What about that girl with the hoop earrings?
Ridiculous. When she was dancing...
Megan, look out! Look out!
Oh my God, Becky. Becky, are you okay? My arm. I think it's broken. Can you bend it? It's already bent. In the wrong direction. I can't believe this. I'm so sorry. I only had a few drinks. I was just buzzed.
Really? Just buzzed?
Yeah, I swear.
Well, in that case, my arm is fine. Ah, that's better.
You're really okay? You're serious, Becky?
No, genius. I'm not serious.
Ow! My arm, it hurts.
Buzzed driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
Hey, what's up? Thinking about you. XOXOXO. Want to snuggle. ... JK. Hit me back. You getting these texts? ? We should hang later. I miss you. Holla at ya, boy. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you at home? Where are you? What are you doing? OMG. You are making me mad. Are you with your ex? You better text me back. I'm waiting outside your house.
Relentless, aggressive texting is like sending an angry robot to deliver your message. When does the robot become dangerous? Let us know at that'snotcool.com.
That'snotcool.com.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Studio 17 on this Wednesday morning, the first day of January 2014. And I have a sudden urge to go chase that guy Finnegan. Always picking on me! I can't take it anymore. I just want to go on shore leave. Star Trek reference. Alright. I can't believe I've never played this music bed before. I like it. Anyway. Enough about the music beds, my friend. We have a show to take care of, and I'm running out of battery in my Nook HD reader, so what do you say we get to it? But before I do that, I need to remind you of this, okay? Here we go. This episode of First Cup is sponsored in part by Wishing Stars Native Creations, Marshall Woodworking, Fine Art Today with Maria Sewer, and Mary Kay Cosmetics with Jennifer Jacobs Moorhead. Check out their websites and many more on the Friends page at tinyurl.com/Gunther's House or tinyurl.com/GuntherMobile. All right, and now let's find out what's trending on the first day of the new year. And without further hesitation, let's roll that music bed.
What the fuck say?
Why did I get your mass text? I'm in your contacts. Why did I get your mass text? I'm in your contacts.
And it's time to find out what's trending on this Wednesday. Not a whole lot to talk about, but it is Wednesday, January 1st, the first day of 2014. And incidentally, there are 364 days left in this year. Thought for the day comes from G.K. Chesterton, English poet and essayist, 1874 to 1936. And the thought for today is, the object of a new year is not that we should have a new year. It is that we should have a new soul and a new nose, new feet, a new backbone, new ears, and new eyes. Apparently this guy was into new body parts. And, well, that's it. Yeah, my regular show prep service didn't send anything today. I wasn't expecting much. So, I apologize if you're looking for something more. All right. But speaking of looking for more things, or things more, or whatever the case might be, it's time now for a look at lottery numbers, something I forgot to do on yesterday's program. But I didn't forget it today, and hopefully I won't forget it anytime soon. So here we go with current lottery numbers, okay? Are you ready? Here we go. Let me see, where's the intro? Nope, that's the wrong one. There it is. And And taking a look at lottery numbers for today, we'll start off with the Mega Millions drawing from last night. And those numbers, incidentally, were worth $47 million, 25 after taxes. There were no jackpot winners. Last night's Mega Million numbers, they were 8, 12, 34, 52, 58, and the Mega Ball number was number 8. Again, 8, 12, 34, 52, 58. Mega Ball number was 8, and the Mega Plier was number 3. Incidentally, Friday's drawing is now worth an estimated $61 million, $32.3 million after taxes. Powerball numbers for tonight are worth $50 million, $27.7 million after taxes. Won't read those numbers because I did that on Monday's show. Lotto numbers from last Saturday, I already read those on Monday as well. And there was a winner, so the jackpot is back down to $1 million for tonight. And the Show Me Cash drawing yesterday, worth $142,000. Apparently somebody won it because it's back to $50,000 for today. Yesterday's numbers were 5, 8, 19, 21, and 30. 5, 8, 19, 21, and 30. Pick 4 midday numbers for yesterday were 9, 9, 1, 0. 9, 9, 1, 0. Pick 4 evening numbers last night were 6, 9, 5, 2. 6, 9, 5, 2. And the pick 3 midday numbers for yesterday worth $600. They were 6, 9, and 7. 6, 9, and 7. And the pick 3 evening numbers from last night were 7, 2, 2. 7, 2, 2. And those are the lottery numbers that I have for you on this Wednesday morning. Now, it's time for a look at news headlines. And bear with me for just a moment. I'm going to have to find an alternate source. I just realized that. So it'll take me just a moment to find the appropriate information here. Let's see, we'll try that one. And then we'll be set to go. Okay. All right. Okay. And we're ready for news headlines. Ann Curry, are you ready, ma'am?
Good morning, everybody. In the news this morning, good morning.
And it's time for a look at news headlines for today. First of all, North Korea's Kim vows to build world-class structures. Yeah, the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, earlier today called for the construction of world-class structures, praising the speedy completion of his pet ski resort project. In other news, Duck Dynasty star Robertson makes nice in Fox News interview. This is according to the Associated Press. And Duck Dynasty star Willie Robertson chose not to quack back. That's funny. Well, one of his first chances to comment on the dust-up surrounding his outspoken father and co-star Phil Robertson, the younger Robertson had only kind words for the A&E network and New Year's wishes for the nation in an appearance on Fox News' All-American New Year special last night. Yeah, that's not what you were saying 2 weeks ago, sir, but pardon me for pointing out that. And speaking of New Year's, last night, revelers ushered in the new year with fireworks and festivities worldwide. You know, from Sydney to Dubai, revelers welcomed the new year with extravagant fireworks displays. London prepared to celebrate by spraying clouds of fruit-flavored mist, and Chicago and San Francisco planned massive outdoor celebrations. As a matter of fact, in New York, about 1 million people were expected to gather in Times Square for the New Year's Eve street party as Miley Cyrus, Melissa Etheridge, and hip-hop artists Macklemore and Ryan Lewis made headlines and headlined the festivities and dropping the nearly 12,000-pound crystal-encrusted ball to mark the start of the new year, to which they had to pry Miley Cyrus off of. Well, I made that last part up. And that, my friends, is a look at news headlines for today. I'll have more news for you in a few minutes, courtesy of the CBS World News Desk, with the World News Roundup, the first one of the brand new year. Now, let's take a look at the nationwide weather forecast. And incidentally, you can get the weather forecast 24/7 by going to the weather link or the weather button at tinyurl.com/Gunther's House. That's good on your PC, Mac, Linux, or tablet computer, or on your smartphone at tinyurl.com/Gunther Mobile, where you can get the forecast 24/7, again, from the Weather Channel at weather.com. Okay, and speaking of the weather, let's roll that beautiful bean footage. Hercules drops snow in the plains to the northeast. Starting off in the Midwest today, Winter Storm Hercules produces snow from Nebraska and Kansas through southern Michigan and northern Ohio today. Snow falls from Kansas to southern Michigan and Ohio New Year's night. By tomorrow, the snow continues in the Ohio Valley and Michigan during the morning hours, but ends from west to east during the afternoon and early evening hours. Heaviest accumulations are expected in northeast Illinois, southeast Wisconsin, southern Michigan, north Indiana, and northern Ohio, with anywhere from 6 to 12 inches possible. Elsewhere, accumulations of 1 to 5 inches are expected, and it will remain bitterly cold with highs of minus 10 to plus 5 degrees in North Dakota, eastern South Dakota, Minnesota, and far northern parts of Wisconsin and Michigan New Year's Day. Highs in the teens and 20s are forecast from central South Dakota and east Nebraska to northern Illinois, northern Indiana, and northern Ohio. Milder 30s and 40s from western South Dakota, western Nebraska and Kansas to the Ohio Valley and Kentucky. Off in the northeast, much of the region remains quiet today, but the winter storm Hercules will be approaching. Light snow from Hercules spreads into southern New York and northern Pennsylvania during New Year's Day. New Year's night, the snow spreads into New England and northern New York. Tomorrow, snow continues in western Pennsylvania, New York, and New England. Most of the day will be dry in the southeast part of New York, eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, and northern Virginia. Rain moves into central and southern Virginia, with a mixture of rain and snow in West Virginia tomorrow. Tomorrow night, a snowstorm is expected from northern Virginia through much of New England. The whole storm quickly moves out to sea by Friday, ending the snow. Heaviest accumulations in North Pennsylvania, South and Central New York, and Central and Southern New England, with anywhere from a foot to 18 inches of snow possible. Accumulations of 3 to 8 inches are forecast in North New York and North New England. Across the western part of West Virginia, across the eastern part of West Virginia, the far western part of Virginia, central and southern Pennsylvania, southeast New York, and most of New Jersey. Snowfall should be anywhere from 2 to 7 inches. Snowfall of 1 to 3 inches is possible in western West Virginia, northern Virginia, central and eastern Maryland, Delaware, and southern New Jersey. In the south, rain and showers are expected to expand throughout the Gulf Coast states and along the Carolina coast this New Year's Day. The remainder of the region should be dry. New Year's night, rain expands into the lower Mississippi Valley, northern portions of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, and into the central Carolinas. Tomorrow, the rain continues across the southeast with thunderstorms likely in north and central Florida. Colder air working in the west and northwest side of the storm changes rain over to snow in northern Arkansas and western Tennessee this New Year's night. Tomorrow, the rain and snow line shifts east into eastern Tennessee, extreme northern Alabama, and extreme northern Georgia. The rain may end as snow in western parts of North and South Carolina by tomorrow night. A slushy inch or two of snow is possible across northern Arkansas, Tennessee, and far western parts of North and South Carolina. And finally, out west, snow and snow showers come to an end in southeast Montana, east Wyoming, and north and northeast Colorado New Year's Day. Additional accumulations of up to 2 inches are possible. Remainder of the region should have a quiet and dry New Year's Day. Rain and snow will move back into northwest and north Washington late New Year's night and into tomorrow. It remains bitterly cold with highs of -5 to +5 degrees in far eastern Montana. Highs in the 30s and 40s extend from the northwest to the central Rockies. Highs in the 50s occur from northern California to central Arizona and central New Mexico. Warm 60s and 70s are forecast from central California to southern Arizona. And it will be another sunny, dry, and warm day for the annual Tournament of Roses parade in Pasadena. Temperatures should be in the 50s at the start of the parade, but warm quickly through the 60s to lower 70s by the end of the parade. And that, my friends, is a brief look at the nationwide weather forecast for this New Year's Day. As far as our weather forecast is concerned here in the Kirksville, Missouri region, first of all, a winter weather advisory has just been issued. Just cleared my screen right in the nick of time. Right in the nick of tomb, as Officer Crabtree would say, from that great show, Allo, Allo. And take a look at the Kirksville, Missouri area weather forecast for today. And let me pull up the appropriate information. And give me just a moment. Winter weather advisory for light snow is in effect from this afternoon through tonight. A fast-moving winter storm system will move through the area this Wednesday, bringing with it a period of light to moderate snow. Gusty north winds will continue to combine with the falling snow to create visibility problems during the period of heaviest falling snow. As a matter of fact, by late tonight into early tomorrow morning, widespread 2 to 4 inches of snow can be expected. North winds at 5 to 15 miles an hour in combination with very cold temperatures will bring the wind chills down to about 10 to 20 degrees below zero tomorrow morning. And that winter weather advisory is in effect from noon today through midnight tonight for the following counties and communities. Are you ready? Okay, they include Atchison, Kansas, Doniphan, Atchison, Missouri. Doniphan and Atchison counties in Kansas. In Missouri, that's Nottoway, Worth, Gentry, Harrison, Sullivan, Adair, Buchanan, Clinton, Caldwell, Livingston, Lynn. It includes the cities of Atchison, Troy, Tarkio, Maryville, Grant City, Albany, Stanberry, Bethany, Princeton, Unionville, Lancaster, Downing, Mound City, Oregon, Savannah, Cameron, Gallatin, Jamesport, Trenton, Milan, Green City, Kirksville, St. Joe, Plattsburgh, Hamilton, Polo, Chillicothe, and Brookfield. Did I say Lynn County? Oh, yep, I did. Okay. And what you can expect? Well, here's the timing on that storm. Light snow is expected to start falling around noon or shortly thereafter. For today, the heaviest snow will likely fall between 2 and 9 p.m. today. By midnight tonight, expect widespread snow to come to an end. Snow accumulations, widespread, 2 to 4 inches. As far as impact, winds will be out of the north at about 15 miles per hour, gusting up to 30 miles per hour throughout the day. That will cause some visibility issues as well as drifting of snow. Temperatures, well, overnight lows tonight into tomorrow morning will be near zero. North winds between 5 and 15 miles per hour will cause wind chill values tomorrow morning to drop down to at least 10 to 20 degrees below zero. So, winter weather advisory means that periods of snow will cause travel difficulties. Be prepared for slippery roads, limited visibilities, and use caution, extra caution, while driving. Okay. As far as the forecast is concerned, calling for cloudy skies today, periods of snow developing, mainly after 3 o'clock this afternoon. Highs around 15 degrees. Wind chill values between 2 below and 3 above. North to northeasterly winds at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Wind gust up to 20 to 25 miles per hour. Total daytime snow accumulations of 1 to 3 inches is possible. Tonight, cloudy skies, snow ending around 10 o'clock, at least the heaviest of it. Lows around 0 to 5 above. Wind chill values of 3 below to 10 below. North winds at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Wind gust up to 20 to 25 miles per hour. Chance of precipitation is 90%. New snow accumulations tonight of 1 to 2 inches is possible. And then for tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, but bitterly cold. Highs in the upper single digits to lower teens. Wind chill values of -6 to -15. North to northwesterly winds about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Becoming mostly clear tomorrow night. Lows around 5 below zero. North to northwesterly winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming calm in the evening. Sunny skies on Friday, a little bit warmer. Highs in the mid-20s, lows in the lower 20s. South winds at about 10 to 15 miles an hour, with wind gusts up to 20 to 25 miles per hour. For Saturday, cloudy skies with a slight chance of snow developing after 7 a.m. No mention of an accumulation. Highs in the low to mid-30s, lows in the lower single digits, or rather in the upper single digits to lower teens, I should say. A 20% chance of snow on Sunday. Much colder. Highs around 17, lows around 3 below 0. Sunny skies on Monday, but bitterly cold. Highs around 2 above. A few clouds for Monday night, lows around -6. And then sunny skies, a continuation of cold temperatures on Tuesday. A little bit warmer, though. Highs around 10 to 15 degrees on Monday. And that, my friends, is a brief look at the nationwide weather forecast, as well as the Kirksville, Missouri area weather forecast on this Wednesday morning. Before I take a look at stats, let me drink some water because my throat is a little bit dry. Another aspect I hate about winter. On this day in Iowa weather history, on this date, 1942, from New Year's Eve, 1941, into New Year's Day, 1942, a severe winter storm dumped heavy snowfall from southwestern Iowa throughout the northeastern corner of the state. As a matter of fact, snowfall amounts of 10 to 20 inches, that's right, 10 to 20 inches, were common from Page County to Black Hawk County. The highest accumulation was 19.8 inches of snow at Des Moines, which remains the 24-hour snowfall record at that location. Other storm total snowfall amounts were 19 inches at Indianola, 15.5 inches at Jefferson, 14.5 inches at Rockwell City, 14 inches at Ames and Mount Airy, and 13.2 inches at Waterloo. Of course, most highways were blocked. Most highways were blocked by the heavy snow and deep drifts, and it was not until the 3rd that most of the principal arteries were opened to one-way traffic. That was on this date in Iowa history, weather history, 1941 into 1942. All right, see if I can get some weather observations for you here. And, ooh, I like this. Oh, that's for Iowa. Never mind. Well, light snow and 1 above in Denison. Storm Lake, -2 and cloudy. Ames, Iowa, cloudy and 4 degrees. Ankeny, mostly sunny and 7. Light snow, 10 degrees in Sheraton. Where else we got here? Iowa Falls, 1 above and no sky. Light snow and 6 degrees at Cedar Rapids. Light snow and 2 above in Waterloo. Light snow and 8 degrees in Iowa City. Davenport, snow and 7 degrees with wind chill index reading of -11. And Ottumwa, light snow and 11 degrees this morning. Let's see if I can find Centerville. Flurries and 12 degrees at Centerville at the moment. That's Iowa temperatures and conditions. Just occurred to me, I've been talking for over 12 minutes about the weather forecast. And I haven't even got to the Missouri stats yet. Okay, let's see if I can find the weather stats for Kirksville. Why did it default to Des Moines? I guess that's more accurate for this area than it would be for Pleasant Hill, Missouri. I'm just thinking out loud here. Okay, let me see if I can find Missouri weather stats. Across the Show Me State, sunny skies and 20 degrees in downtown Kansas City. 15 and cloudy at St. Joe. 34 mostly sunny at Harrisonville. That's the warmest so far. 35 and partly sunny in Sedalia. 17 in Chillicothe. 21 in Moberly. 15 and cloudy in Kirksville, where winds are out of the northeast at 15 miles an hour. Wind chill index reading at a goose egg. That's 0. Relative humidity at 80%. Barometric pressure rising at 30.16 inches of mercury with a little bit of haze. And that's just from my mental fog. Partly sunny and 39 degrees at St. Louis International Airport. Spirit reporting 32 and sunny at the moment. 34 at Columbia. 31 at the state capitol. 23 and cloudy at Hannibal. Nevada, 39 and sunny. 30 and sunny at Nevada. 39 and mostly sunny at Joplin. Topeka, 18 and cloudy. Cloudy, 17 in Manhattan. Light snow and 7 in Omaha. Lincoln reporting 10 degrees with light snow. And Wichita, partly sunny, 34 degrees at the moment. And that is a comprehensive look at the weather forecast. How many radio stations do you know that will spend 15 minutes to talk about the weather forecast? Well, that station you worked for in Moberly a few years ago. We don't want to talk about that right now. All right. And that's going to do it for the weather forecast for the moment. All right. Right now, take a look outside. It is hazy. Looks very cold. But I'll have to go out a little bit later on. But not right now. I have a show to do. Okay. Well, let's see. What do I have coming up in just a moment? I have celebrity birthdays today in history, along with the CBS World News Roundup, the song of the day. Right now, though, I'm going to take a quick break. And when I come back, I'll have a brand new program. So new, I don't even know what the name of it is yet. But I'll have that for you, along with the Composer's Date Book. And the Writer's Almanac with Garrison Keillor is on the way in just a moment. From Studio 17, I'm Joe Hafner, and this is Your First Cup.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
These are the sounds of someone taking their eyes off the road. Texting while driving is more than distracting. It's dangerous. Do us all a favor. When you're on the road, stay off the phone. A message from CTIA, America's Wireless Companies, and the National Safety Council.
This episode of First Cup is sponsored in part by Wishing Stars Native Creations, Marshall Woodworking, Fine Art Today with Maria Sewer, and Mary Kay Cosmetics with Jennifer Jacobs Moorhead. Check out their websites and many more on the Friends page at tinyurl.com/Gunther's House or tinyurl.com/GuntherMobile.
The Writer's Almanac podcast is supported by the Poetry Foundation, publisher of Poetry Magazine. You can browse back issues of the magazine and become a subscriber at poetryfoundation.org.
And here is the Writer's Almanac for Wednesday. It's the 1st of January. 2014, New Year's Day. It was on this day, 1863, Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. It's the birthday of E.M. Forster, born London, 1879, who wrote his 5 most important novels, including A Room with a View, Howard's End, and A Passage to India, all before he was 40 years old. And it's the birthday of J.D. Salinger, Jerome David Salinger, in New York City, 1919. Started his career writing short stories for slick magazines, the Saturday Evening Post, Mademoiselle, Good Housekeeping, and so forth. He sent the New Yorker a story called Slight Rebellion off Madison in 1941, a story about a teenager named Holden Caulfield, and the New Yorker bought it. They did not print it because World War II had begun. Japan had bombed Pearl Harbor, and the story felt too trivial for time of war. Salinger was drafted into the Army. He was stationed in England. He was still writing through June of 1943 when he learned he would be deployed in D-Day, the invasion of Normandy. His division hit the beach in the 5th hour of the invasion. For the next several months, Salinger saw some of the bloodiest fighting of the war, including the Battle of the Bulge. Between 50 and 200 soldiers in his division killed or wounded every day. And at the end of the war, he checked into an army hospital in Nuremberg suffering from a nervous breakdown, spent several months there recuperating. It was after his release from the hospital that he wrote a Holden Caulfield story narrated by Holden Caulfield himself called I'm Crazy, published in Collier's in December 1945. And a year later, the New Yorker finally published Slight Rebellion off Madison. In 1949, he went to see the editor Robert Giroux. Giroux wrote, a tall, sad-looking young man with a long face and deep-set black eyes walked in saying, it's not my stories that should be published, but the novel I'm working on about this kid in New York during the Christmas holidays. Giroux liked the novel, but one of his superiors in the company thought the kid seemed too crazy, so they had to turn down The Catcher in the Rye, which was published 1951 by Little Brown. It got mixed reviews. The New York Times did not care for it, but Catcher in the Rye hit the bestseller list after just a couple of weeks, stayed there for 6 months, and went on to sell more than 60 million copies. Salinger died in 2010, 91 years old, after 50 years spent avoiding the public eye as much as possible, and according to a new biography, some of his unpublished work will be released sometime in the next 4 or 5 years. Here's a poem for today by Ron Padgett, A Small Glass of Orange Juice. On a white tablecloth with light blue legs below, in a hotel restaurant in a small town in Poland in 1936, is being contemplated by a man whose Hamburg is tilted at an angle parallel to that of the picture on the wall behind him, a mountain scene with forest below, in which a lone deer has turned to look at us. A poem by Ron Padgett, A Small Glass of Orange Juice, from his collected poems, published by Coffee House Press and used by permission here on the Writer's Almanac. Supported by the Poetry Foundation, publisher of Poetry Magazine, committed to discovering great poets and printing their verse. Back issues and subscriptions available at poetryfoundation.org. Engineered by Noah Smith, produced by Joy Biles. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.
This is the Composer's Datebook for January 1st. I'm John Zeck. We'd like to start the new year with some upbeat music to honor the American composer and bandleader Edwin Franco Goldman, who was born in Louisville, Kentucky on today's date in 1878. At the tender age of 14, Goldman attended the National Conservatory of Music in New York City, where he studied composition with Antonin Dvorak. At 15, Goldman became a professional trumpet player, performing with the Metropolitan Opera Orchestra. In 1911, he founded the New York Military Band, later simply known as the Goldman Band. They performed hundreds of public concerts around the city, including on the Mall in Central Park. In the 1930s, radio broadcasts made the Goldman Band famous nationwide. Their catchy signature tune entitled On the Mall was composed by Goldman himself, who invited the audiences to sing or whistle along. Goldman composed about 150 band works of his own and prompted the commission of many more, including wind band classics by American composers such as Virgil Thompson, Walter Piston, and Howard Hanson. The Goldman Band, led by Goldman or his son Richard, also premiered new works by leading European composers as well. Goldman founded the American Bandmasters Association in 1929 and served as its second honorary life president after John Philip Sousa. Edwin Franco Goldman died in New York in 1956. For his contribution to the radio industry, he has a star on Hollywood Boulevard's Walk of Fame, and the Goldman Bandshell in Allentown, Pennsylvania is named in his honor. Composer's Datebook is produced by American Public Media in conjunction with the American Composers Forum, with funds provided by the College Band Directors National Association, reminding you that all music was once new.
From NPR News, this is All Things Considered. I'm Robert Siegel.
And I'm Audie Cornish. New Year's Eve in Russia is the time to watch the country's favorite holiday movie, a Soviet-era classic called The Irony of Fate or Enjoy Your Bath. Like the American classic It's a Wonderful Life, it captures the magic of the holidays, but it does it in a way that is quintessentially Russian. Here's NPR's Corey Flintoff in Moscow.
Every year on New Year's Eve, at least one TV channel in Russia will show The Irony of Fate, a 3-hour movie that was made for TV in 1975.
It has this slight nostalgia for the Soviet times when life seemed to be easier and simpler. There were fewer decisions to be made. All the decisions were kind of made for you.
That's Olga Fedina, the author of What Every Russian Knows and You Don't. Those decisions included where you could live, and for city people, that meant a flat in one of many identical apartment buildings. The film begins with an animated sequence in which an architect is shown finishing his design for a creative and beautiful building. As he takes it to various bureaucrats for approval, it's gradually stripped of every feature that makes it interesting and reduced to the same rectangular block as every other building. Fedina says her Western friends are often surprised that a satirical jab at the sameness of Soviet buildings was allowed on Soviet TV.
But I think there was a lot more satire in the Soviet Union than is generally perceived.
The fact that the Soviets built identical buildings all over the country is the device that brings our protagonists together, even though they live in different cities. The hero is Zhenya, a 30-something doctor who lives with his mother in Moscow. Every New Year's Eve, before the festivities start, Zhenya goes to the banya, the Russian bathhouse, with his friends, and this year is no exception. But because Zhenya is about to be married, his friends toast him in alternating mugs of vodka and beer until he and another fellow pass out. The two friends who remain conscious remember that someone is supposed to be put on a plane to Leningrad, but they can't remember who. The result is that a barely conscious Zhenya is put on the plane by mistake. When Zhenya gives his address to the taxi driver in Leningrad, he is, of course, taken to a building that looks exactly like his home in Moscow, so identical that his key even fits the lock of what seems to be his flat. The apartment where Zhenya is crawling into bed actually belongs to Nadia. Nadia is a teacher, single and 30-something.
Which in those times in Russia would mean that she's a woman who really should start thinking seriously about getting married, because if she doesn't do it now, she probably is going to stay single forever.
Nadia has arranged an elegant New Year's supper for her boyfriend, a well-to-do, jealous, and rather pompous character whom she doesn't love, but who appears to be her last chance for a life partner. She's not happy when she finds a drunken stranger in her bed, and she tries unsuccessfully to get rid of him before the boyfriend arrives. Most of the rest of the movie plays like an American screwball comedy, but it has a tinge of sadness that's underlined whenever one of the characters breaks into song.
По улице моей, который год, звучат шаги, мои друзья уходят.
Yes, each of the identical apartments has a guitar, and each of the lead actors sings several songs based on Russian poetry and dubbed by popular singers of the day.
That's what Russians like about it as well, because you kind of, you want to be a little bit sad, even when you're happy.
And that's why even today, Russians will stop their preparations for New Year's Eve to watch a favorite scene from The Irony of Fate.
С Новым годом, люди.
С Новым годом.
Or Happy New Year. Corey Flintoff, NPR News, Moscow.
This episode of First Cup is sponsored in part by Wishing Stars Native Creations. Marshall Woodworking, Fine Art Today with Maria Sewer, and Mary Kay Cosmetics with Jennifer Jacobs-Moorhead. Check out their websites and many more on the Friends page at tinyurl.com/Gunther's House or tinyurl.com/Gunther Mobile. Ready for Snow Apocalypse 2014? I'm sure it's going to be in the news before the end of the week. Mark my words, especially when it hits the East Coast. Well, welcome back to Studio 17. No snow yet, at least none that I can see. The sun is trying to peek out just a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be successful for very long. Well, welcome back to Studio 17 on this edition of First Cup. First one for a brand new year, brand new month, and middle of this work week, at least for some of us. The rest of us, well, we're just kicking back, relaxing like yours truly. Coming up in a moment, I will have for you today in history, as well as, what else do I have for you? The CBS World News Roundup in a few minutes. But we're going to start off with some birthdays. And occasionally, people are born on the 1st of January. And if you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday, all right? Let me find the appropriate info and get the music ready for that. I think I'm going to watch Rat Race a little bit later on. I hope it's still on Netflix. I've got it on DVD, but I found with Netflix, if it's on there, it's a whole lot easier. And plus, when I stop, I don't have to go, where did I stop that at? Oh, yeah, 37 minutes, 14 seconds. Now I can just stop it and go back to it months later if I so desire. All right, celebrity birthdays. Celebrity birthdays. What did I do with it? That's not it. That's not it. Which one is it? Trying to remember where I put it. I should be looking right at it. Here we go. There it is. I had it opened earlier, and I closed it. I don't know why I did that. All right. Time for celebrity birthdays. Let's see if I can find Dr. McCoy and Admiral Kirk to kick this off.
Damn it, Jim, what the hell's the matter with you? Other people have birthdays. Why are we treating yours like a funeral?
Bones, I don't want to be lectured.
Very, very many happy reasons.
And again, if you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday. And whoops, I turned that down just a little too low. There we go. All right. Computer's wanting to act up a little bit today. Celebrity birthdays today include former Senator, a Democrat from South Carolina, Ernest Hollings. He is 92 today. Actor Ty Hardin is 84. Rock singer and musician Country Joe McDonald is 72. Actor Rick Hurst is 68. And country singer Steve Ripley of the Tractors is 64. What else do we have here for you? Country singer Brian Flynn of Flynnville Train is 48. Not familiar with him or that group. And actor Vern Troyer is 45. And those are some celebrity birthdays for today. Before I get to today in history, last night I was reading an article about Faith Hill and Tim McGraw. Wow, I knew they were having difficulties, but I had no idea that Faith was such a boozer and an abuser. Apparently, when she gets mad, she gets mad. But I tell you, if I were dating or married to a woman like Faith Hill, I would be so faithful, you'd have to call me a dog. I mean, I don't get that. But then, Tim McGraw does have a bit of a reputation as a ladies' man. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see. So that's why I made that joke about Faith and Tim last night on the New Year's Eve program, in case you didn't know. But I imagine if you're familiar at all with country music, you know that one. Let's see. I'm pretty sure that's going to be read in Today in History, even though I haven't listened to it yet. I'm going to take a shot at this one, and we'll go from there. All right, it's time for Today in History, and see if I can find Professor Peabody. He's always working on something, but I just wish he'd work on this modem to make it a little bit faster, a little bit better. All right, Professor Peabody, are you ready, sir?
Hello there, Peabody here.
Once again, it is time to take another revealing peek back into history.
What famous date shall I set it to today, Mr. Peabody?
And on this date in 1954, January 1st, 1954, NBC broadcast the first coast-to-coast color television program as it presented live coverage of the Tournament of Roses parade in Pasadena. Yeah, for those one or two of you in 1954 who had a color television, go, oh, that's so incredible! Next, they'll have this thing in stereo, and you're like, dude, what have you been smoking? And the next thing they're going to have a form of music called rock and roll. Yeah, right. All right. For more of Today in History, let's go to the Associated Press.
January 1st, 1959.
I don't ambition, power, and money, nothing, only to serve my country.
In Cuba, Fidel Castro and his guerrillas topple Fulgencio Batista from power, clearing the way for decades of communist rule. 1863. During the Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln signs the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring slaves in the Confederate States to be free. 1892. Ellis Island opens for business in New York, serving as the gateway for millions of immigrants entering the U.S. through the early 20th century. And 1953,
Good looking, what you got cooking?
Country singer Hank Williams Sr. dies of a drug and alcohol overdose on his way to a concert in Canton, Ohio. He was 29 years old. Today in history, January 1st. Camille Bohannon, The Associated Press.
There's something called the First Amendment.
He's allowed to say whatever he wants.
This is also freedom of speech.
Political correctness that's gotten malignant.
This is a classic example of the word police, political correctness.
And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis?
A Supreme Court justice temporarily blocks part of Obamacare.
Contraceptive care free of charge.
Onward now into 2014, where in Colorado, recreational pot is now for sale.
It's awesome that people get to actually walk into a store and buy it.
Good morning, I'm Dave Barrett with the CBS World News Roundup. Part of the Affordable Care Act is not going into effect today. Last night, Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor granted a request from a Catholic nuns group in Colorado. Portions of the law have been blocked that would mandate health insurance for workers at religious-affiliated groups. That coverage would have included birth control. At UC Irvine, Erwin Chemerinsky is dean of the law school.
What Justice Sotomayor did was stay the law to keep it from going into effect as to this group. This isn't a ruling on the merits. It's just freezing the status quo until the courts have the opportunity to decide the question.
The government has till Friday morning to respond to the order. Did you go online to get covered through healthcare.gov? The new law does kick in today, and says correspondent Peter Mayer,
the White House is watching for what one official describes as possible hiccups in the system. Spokesman Josh Earnest describes a backup plan to make sure that those who enrolled are covered.
We have had a team of folks working through the holidays to smooth this transition, to make sure that the lines are connected between the new customers and their new insurance company.
It's a New Year's Day test of the new law, and with so much on the line, President Obama's receiving updates here. Peter Mayer, CBS News, Honolulu.
Last night, 1 million or so stood in New York City with temperatures in the 20s. CBS's Mara Rubin was there as well as the calendar advanced to 2014.
The ball dropped at midnight in New York's Times Square without a hitch.
Being here at midnight, being awake, the whole thing. So it was like incredible.
For many, the 1 ton of confetti that showered down from the buildings above was the best part of the night.
It was like raining like rainbows.
And within minutes of the ball dropping, and while New York was still playing, sanitation workers started sweeping up all the confetti. Mara Rubin, CBS News, New York.
In Cleveland, 3, 2, 1. Drew Carey helped count down. And in Hawaii, where the first family is vacationing, fireworks brought in a new year about 3 hours ago.
Fratelli carissimi,
At the Vatican today, Pope Francis spoke of strength, courage, and hope as 2014 begins. There was a message in North Korea on state-run TV. Leader Kim Jong-un spoke for the first time about the execution of his uncle, saying firm measures had been taken to get rid of a factional filth that permeated the party. At a hospital in Volgograd, Russian President Vladimir Putin visited with patients injured in the terrorist attacks last weekend. He also placed a bouquet at the site of a trolley bus bombing there. Earlier, in a New Year's Eve address to Russia, Putin said the fight against terrorists will continue until their destruction is complete. With 6 weeks to go until the Winter Games in Sochi in Russia, IOC chief Thomas Bach says he believes the Russians will have a safe and secure Olympics. What does it take to run the federal judicial system? A new report is out, and CBS's Vicki Barker has some of the key points.
The wheels of justice need judicious applications of money to turn smoothly, and Chief Justice John Roberts says lack of funding threatens public faith in the whole federal court system. In his year-end report, Roberts warns that government cuts have left staffing critically low, workloads impossibly high. If funding isn't restored, he says, crime victims, ordinary plaintiffs, and companies could face ever longer delays in seeing justice done, threatening everything from business confidence to public safety. Dave?
Former First Lady Barbara Bush is in a Houston hospital suffering from pneumonia. Family spokesman Jim McGrath spoke with her last night.
She doesn't want anybody to make a fuss, and she's Barbara Bush. She's remarkable, and it wouldn't surprise me if she bounced back really strong from this.
Barbara Bush is 88. Some small improvement in the condition of ex-Formula One race driver Michael Schumacher. He's in a French hospital, has had 2 brain operations since his skiing accident in the Alps. Schumacher's manager is Sabine Kam, who says he spent a stable night.
That is for the moment a good news, but I repeat, it is just for the moment because Michael's injury is heavy and the overall situation is critical.
Stateside, pot use is no longer against the law in Colorado. CBS's Lee Frank on the change.
The strong scent of burning marijuana drifts across this party room where people celebrate the start of marijuana being legally sold in Colorado. Cannabis products have long been available in medical marijuana dispensaries. Now adults in Colorado have a wide variety of ways to smoke, eat, or drink the drug for recreational use. As with alcohol, it's state regulated and taxed at an even higher rate. Lee Frank, CBS News, Denver.
As we begin 2014, new laws begin all across the nation. Correspondent Heather Bosch has a snapshot of some of those.
In Delaware, it's now illegal to possess or sell shark fins. Transgender students in California can use whichever restroom they're comfortable in. If you're sold a sick pet in Illinois, you can now demand your money back or get vet bills covered. Illinois is also restricting drones.
One of those laws prohibits using drones to interfere with hunters and fishermen, and another allows their use by law enforcement.
But only with a warrant. Jane Carroll Andrade with the National Conference of State Legislatures says about 40,000 new laws go into effect every year. Heather Bosch, CBS News.
Those who are gay will now be able to raise their right hand and become a scout. CBS's Pam Coulter explains.
Starting today,
on my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God.
Openly gay boys will be able to take the Boy Scout oath. Boy Scout officials are hoping implementation of the new policy will be like the Y2K scare, a non-event. And Paul Uguerra of the Human Rights Campaign thinks everything will go smoothly.
We're at a day and age where young people know gay people, they have gay friends. So really, I don't anticipate any problems as long as people keep an open mind and open heart.
The policy was approved last May, supported by 60% of the group's 1,400 voting members. Pam Coulter, CBS News.
Who was most generous in 2013? The list of the top 10 is out. And those younger donors under age 40 gave away plenty of money. Stacey Palmer, editor of the Chronicle of Philanthropy.
At the very top of the list is Mark Zuckerberg, who gave nearly $1 billion in stock to Silicon Valley charity that benefits lots of nonprofit causes. And he was followed by Phil Knight, the chairman of Nike, who gave $500 million.
Pasadena and CBS's Steve Futterman.
Here along Colorado Boulevard, the prime locations have already been taken. People have placed chairs and benches to reserve the key spots so they can watch the parade. People have come here from far and near.
I did this as a kid, and once my kids got old enough, we decided that, this is a good year.
By the time the parade starts, officials estimate around 700,000 people will line the 5-mile route. Steve Futterman, CBS News, Pasadena, California.
And if you're watching the parade, look for the sunrise at the Oasis float. It's 55 feet long with 3 waterfalls, a garden showing off fake exotic animals, and 16 performers decked out in veils offering a display of swords and fire. That's the World News Roundup for Wednesday, January 1st, 2014. I'm Dave Barrett, CBS News.
Now, this is a story all about how my life got turned upside down. I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I tell you how I became the prince of a town called Air.
What happened in here?
We was robbed! You're absolutely right. In West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spend most of my days chilling out, maxing, relaxing. Oh, and all shooting some b-ball outside of your school when a couple of guys who were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight. My mom got scared and said, "You're moving with your auntie and uncle." And I laughed. I whistled for a cat, and when it came near, the license plate said, "Russian had a dice in the mirror." If anything could say that this cat was rare, I thought, nah. Forget it. You homes to Bel Air. I pulled up to a house about 7 or 8, and I yelled to the cabbie, "You home smell you later." Looked at my kingdom. I was finally there to sit on my throne as the prince of Bel.
This one is unflippin' believable.
This episode of First Cup is sponsored in part by Wishing Stars Native Creations, Marshall Woodworking, Fine Art Today with Maria Zur, and Mary Kay Cosmetics with Jennifer Jacobs Moorhead. Check out their websites and many more on the Friends page at tinyurl.com/Gunther's House or tinyurl.com/Gunther Mobile. Welcome back to Studio 17 on this Wednesday morning. I've got frogs in my throat, and I apologize for that little bit of silence there. I was sitting here reading listening to the CBS World News Roundup, and you know how you sit in a chair and you get relaxed and you're comfortable listening to something or reading something, but you're just sitting there and you close your eyes thinking, oh, this feels so good. I could go back to sleep right about now. I got plenty of time. And then you think, oh, I got dead air. Oh, yeah. Hit a button. Play the Hasselhoff thing. That's what was screaming in my brain. I was like, Joe, you're on the air. You're on the air, Joe. Yoo-hoo. Joe, you're on the air. Nap. Sleep. Anyway. What I have for you coming up, popular tweets in just a little bit, as well as the song of the day, and you can tell I'm searching for something here. I'm looking for news of the weird. I'm trying to remember where I put it. I'm waiting for that to load, and while that's loading, let's see if I find something good here to read. How about I think I'll read this one. Oop, not that. I want this one. I don't want to know how to relieve joints, not right now. Alright, load that one. So load this story, and then I'll turn the screen off. This just came to me via Facebook from a very dear friend of mine from college. Oddly, we really didn't get to know each other until many years after college, thanks to Facebook, but find that we're a lot more alike than unalike. Then that's kind of the way things run in life, isn't it? Anyway, let's see here. I'll get a little bit of sound effects in the background because just listening to my voice drone on, it's not always the most pleasant thing. Alright, let's put that there. Put this up here. All right. I have News of the Weird coming up in just a moment. But this is from the Harvard Business Review. The title of the article is Achieve Your Goals in 2014. Here's research that can help. Okay? And here are some tips. I think there are 21 of them. So I'll go through them really quickly. 21 tips that can help you reach your goals in the new year. First thing, successful people do 9 things differently than everyone else. Okay? Number 2, the rest of us hold ourselves back in 5 major ways. 3, but don't stress. Just change the way you think about stress. Number 4, to spot new opportunities, imagine yourself in the future. Number 5, and act like a leader before you are one. Okay? Number 6, decide what not to do in order to make time for the work that truly matters. Number 7, keep meetings on track, please. Oh, I've had some former bosses that needed to know that one. Number 8, try not to make decisions when you're nervous. Number 9, and I believe this one, money can actually buy happiness if you give it away. Number 10, give away your time while you're at it. Number 11, basically, be generous. Number 12, and say thank you. Number 13, be quiet sometimes. I have a hard time with that one lately. Number 14, ask for feedback. Number 15, pick the right battles to fight at work. Took me a long time to learn that one. Number 16, don't be too confident. Number 17, challenge yourself with a growth mindset. Number 8, almost did this one. Number 18, almost did this a while ago. Go to sleep. Number 19, seriously, go to sleep. Number 20, and go for a walk too. 21, remember it's really hard to change. But number 22, most importantly, but it can be done. Just some things to think about, okay, as we start up the brand new year. All right, well, it's time for News of the Weird. And in News of the Weird today, it doesn't matter that they belong to President Barack Obama. First family dogs Bo and Sunny had to go through Hawaii's strict quarantine procedures to travel to the islands for their holiday vacation. Yeah, Hawaii is rabies-free, and all incoming dogs have to jump through several hoops, including an expensive rabies blood test. Dogs that don't meet the regulations can be quarantined, to get this, for up to 120 days.
Well, here's another nice mess you've gotten me into.
Program manager Isaac Medea of Hawaii's rabies quarantine branch said on Monday that the Obamas complied with all of the requirements asked of other pet owners. The only difference, Medea says a military veterinarian inspected the dogs and their paperwork on arrival at Hickam Air Force Base early on December 21st. Other pet owners usually go through a quarantine office at Honolulu International Airport. So, a little something there to think about when you complain about the Obama's dogs. They have to do it just like everyone else, well, more or less. And that's the News of the Weird for today. Now, let's see. I'm going to get something on Twitter going here, so bear with me for just a moment. While I'm thinking about that, I meant to mention this on Monday's program, and I totally forgot about it till just now, thanks to a typo. In that last Saturday, when I was on my way to work, I was driving through downtown Kirksville. It was on Franklin Avenue. That originally was Highway 63 a very long time ago. The original Highway 63, before the overpasses were put in. And, of course, it goes along the same route as Truman State University, Missouri State University. You know, one of the state universities runs through there. Well, anyway, they had some signs up along the route, which basically advertised the university rather, and sorry, I'm punching in some codes here and I'm having some difficulty. Okay, well anyway, they have the signs up, and one of the slogans of Truman State University is I hate these verification processes. Anyway, one of the slogans is "Don't follow, pursue." Yeah, don't follow, pursue. On the surface, that's a pretty good slogan. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Sorry. Anyway, on the surface, that is a pretty good slogan. But then I got to thinking about it a few seconds later and thought, if you're pursuing something or someone, aren't you still following them? In other words, it's not the best slogan in the world, and it just bugs me. Now, this isn't me bashing another university, because my college alma mater for years has been fine, I'll just use my old account. Damn verification processes. Anyway, this is not me bashing another university or college, okay? I have issue with my college alma mater in that you have the running Eagles. Eagles don't run! Okay? And watching the football team over the last 20, 30 years, and that's more true than ever. But if you're pursuing something, you're still following it. And even if you're on an intercept course, anyway, it just bugged me that they approved that particular slogan. Anyway, that's what's going on in my mindset. All right, and now I'm getting access to Twitter, as Governor Rick Perry calls it. Let's see. I think the topic will be hashtags. Hashtag resolutions. So, let's see here. Resolutions. And there we go. Okay, let's find some funny New Year's resolutions, okay? So let me get this going here, and away we go.
And you can always follow me on Twitter.
Hello, computer. Just use the keyboard. The keyboard? How quaint.
And take a look at popular tweets of the day. Of course, it is a brand new year, and that means with New Year's, a lot of us make resolutions. I resolved a long time ago not to make resolutions, especially if I'm just a little bit tipsy. You know, I didn't consume any alcohol last night. Maybe tonight, but not last night. But anyway, taking a look at some of the popular tweets for today, and the topic is resolutions, okay? And here are some of the funnier ones in regards to resolutions. Let's see if I can find something good here. Alright. That one's not really all that good. Let's try, where did that one go? Well, that one wasn't. Hugh Jackman writes, how long do you keep your New Year's resolutions? Truth, really. Yeah, that's true. For a lot of us, it's lasts about 3 or 4 days. Bill Northley writes, this is a good one. In 2014, strive to be the kind of person your dog thinks you are. Yeah. How true that is. And really aren't any funny ones on here that I can see. Nope, that's not it. Morgan D. writes, I just ate 4 cupcakes because I want to start the new year off by eating healthy. And that's pretty good. I think that's probably the funniest one I'm going to find on the fly. Here's a good one. Something I started doing last year. Scott Eddy writes, rid yourself of frenemies. Don't spend 2014 surrounded by people who you secretly despise. So there's a good one. Okay. I think I'll stop there. Yeah, because I don't think I'm going to be able to top that one. Alright. Yeah, I'll stop right there. And that's the popular tweets of the day. Okay, let's see here. I actually used up that whole thing. This cart runs almost 3 minutes. Well, I'm just going to finish it out and look for the song of the day. Did I forget to load the song of the day? Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't remember loading it. Okay. Just a moment. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, I'm really well prepared for the program today, as you can tell. There it is. There's the song of the day. Okay. I'm going to let that load. And then close this. And then I'll go over here and try to find the notes on the particular song. The song of the day is... Okay, let's see here. Let's load that. Long May She Run, Neil Young. That's not the right song. That's not the right one. Long May You Run. Oh, there we go. Okay, Long May You Run. Alright, here we go. And, alright, that one's loaded. As you can tell, I did a Bing search on my phone for that one, because it's a lot easier to say it than it is to type it. Okay. Alright. It's time for the song of the day, my favorite portion of First Cup. I hope to be more coherent tomorrow, and definitely at least more prepared, okay? Because today I sound like I am so drugged. Anyway, today's song of the day is Long May You Run, and originally released on September 20th, 1976 by the Stills Young Band. The version I'm going to play for you today was from Neil Young's Unplugged album in 1992-1993. And the title of the song is originally from the album credited to the Stills Young Band. It's the title track, a collaboration between Stephen Stills and Neil Young, released on Reprise Records in the bicentennial year. The album peaked at number 26 on the Billboard 200, certified gold in the U.S. The album is the sole studio release by Stills and Young in tandem outside of their work with Buffalo Springfield and Crosby, Stills, Nash, and occasionally Young. Well, following the Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young reunion tour of 1974, an attempt by the quartet to finalize a new album ended amidst acrimony without result. David Crosby and Graham Nash resumed their partnership as Crosby and Nash, while Stills and Young continued their independent careers. Songs from the aborted CNSY album appeared on various albums by group members, and Stills covered 2 Young songs on his most recent studio albums, New Mama on Stills and The Loner on Illegal Stills. Well, in early 1976, Stills and Young reached a rapprochement and began to work on a joint album project from a desire by both to pick up where they left off with their Buffalo Springfield era guitar explorations a decade after the inception of the band. Crosby and Nash signed on as well, and briefly, Long May You Run looked like it was going to be the awaited CSNY reunion album. However, Crosby and Nash departed the project to focus on what would become their 1976 album Whistling Down the Wire. Young and Stills reacted by removing the duo's vocals and other contributions from the master tapes. Crosby and Nash vowed to never work with either again, although less than a year later they would regroup with Stills for a new CSN album in 1977. While the Stills Young Band, comprising Stills' current touring band behind the pair, began a tour in 1976 prior to the album's release, the tour commenced in Clarkston, Michigan on June 23rd. Just after 9 dates, Young dropped out after July 18th via a laconic telegram to Stills, forcing Stills to complete the concert tour solo through October. Well, the album's advanced single, Long May You Run, peaked 71 on the UK singles chart and was an elegy for Neil Young's first car, a 1948 Buick Roadmaster hearse, which he nicknamed Mort. Mort was different than the 1953 Pontiac hearse, nicknamed Mort 2, that Richie Furay, traveling with Stills, saw Young driving in a Hollywood traffic jam in 1966 that led to the formation of Buffalo Springfield. Now, the original mix with Crosby and Nash restored was included on Young's Decade compilation in 1977, Long May You Run was performed by Young on the final broadcast of The Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien on January 22nd, 2010, and during the closing ceremonies for the Vancouver Olympics on February 28th, 2010. But the version I'm going to play for you, as I said, was played on Neil Young's Unplugged album, which came out about 22 years ago. Now, without delay, here is today's Song of the Day, Neil Young, and Long May You Run.
With your chrome eyes shining
Today's Song of the Day, Neil Young and Long May You Run. What do you say we take a look at what's coming up on television for today? And a lot to take care of, including the NCIS Marathon on the USA Network. That's probably what I'll be watching. Also going on today, it's a lot of college basketball and football. Let's try football first. NCAA College Bowl games. The Texas... let's try that again. Slow down, Joe. Just read what's on the screen. The TaxSlayer.com Gator Bowl, Nebraska versus Georgia from Everbank Field in Jacksonville, Florida, gets underway in less than an hour from now. As a matter of fact, in 39 minutes on ESPN2. That's at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. The Heart of Dallas Bowl, UNLV versus North Texas from the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, also at 11 o'clock Central Time on ESPNU. The Capital One Bowl, Wisconsin versus South Carolina from the Florida Citrus Bowl in Orlando. That's at 1 o'clock this afternoon Eastern on ABC. This LSU from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa at 1 o'clock this afternoon on ESPN. The Rose Bowl, Stanford versus Michigan State from the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, 5 o'clock this evening Eastern on ESPN. And the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, UCF versus Baylor from the University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, tonight at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. And what else we have for you? Dance Moms Season 4 premiere tonight at 9 o'clock on Lifetime. I am so not there. Kim of Queens series premiere tonight at 10 o'clock on Lifetime. And at 11 on the Oxygen Network, Tattoos After Dark series premiere. Okay. And that's what I have for you in terms of television for tonight. All right. Well, that's going to do it for the first show of 2014. I'll be back on again tomorrow morning, probably about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at the latest, with another edition of First Cup. And coming up this evening, a reminder, I'll have the first episode of Legislative Watch. That's coming up at 7 o'clock Central Time, so if you're not watching television, and look for something a little different to do, I'll be trying out my new program then, see if it works. And if not, well, we'll try something else, okay? That's coming up tonight at 7 Central Standard Time. In the meantime, I'm going to get ready for the first snow apocalypse of 2014 by taking a nap. Yeah, I'm going to sleep through the start of it, but I'll be backing on in a little bit later on today. And that's going to do it for the show for today. I want to thank my sponsors. They include Wishing Stars Native Creations, along with Marshall Woodworking, Fine Art Today with Maria Sewer, and a newcomer to the Friends portion of this network is Mary Kay Cosmetics, care of Jennifer Jacobs Moorhead. And welcome to the Gunther's House of Friends podcasting network. Check out their websites and many more by going to the Friends page at tinyurl.com/Gunther's House or tinyurl.com/GuntherMobile. Send me your emails to Gunther'sHouseOfFriends@gmail.com or leave a message on Skype at G800-486-8437. Follow me on Twitter at JHafner99 or on Gunther's Friends. And check out my websites, again, tinyurl.com/Gunther's House or tinyurl.com/GuntherMobile. And listen to previous episodes of this show as well as other shows that I produce. Among them include Joe's Retro Radio, the short-lived Joe's Mixtape, as well as Joe Hafner Live, which relaunched last night with a special broadcast, a New Year's Eve program, as we bid farewell to 2013 and are now into 2014. And check that out on Stitcher.com, Spreaker.com, iTunes, Miro, or on the Windows Media Store. Okay, well that's going to do it for today. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. All right, except to say this. Okay, are you ready? Here are these words of wisdom. Bear with me. Remember, friends, no one ever said life was going to be easy, but then nothing worthwhile ever is. try and do the right thing. Be kind to one another. And just because we don't always agree doesn't mean we can't be friends now, does it? I'll catch you on the flip-flop and see you a little bit later. Live long and prosper.
Unbelievable.
The following program was produced by Joe Hafner. To hear more of my podcast, check out my website, tinyurl.com/Gunther's House. Gunther, go to the house.